Okay, so have you ever felt like planning a family vacation is like, well, like trying to pack way too much into a tiny car where you can't even see?
And during an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly.
It
It's like that,
feels like
right?
that.
And you know what makes it even harder? Trying to plan a trip with a child who has a disability or, extra needs,
It's a whole other level of planning.
for sure.
Okay.
So that's what we are diving into today. We're going way beyond those, basic travel tips, and we're getting some expert advice from Cheap ABA about how to make those trips smoother, more enjoyable for everyone.
And you know what's cool about this blog post? They get that just a bit of planning at the start can really prevent meltdowns and you can maximize the fun, which, let's be honest, is the whole point of a vacation.
Exactly. And they really focus on the P word preparation. They're all about talking to your child about the trip way in advance. Not just, hey, we're going to Disney World, but like really getting into how to have those conversations.
Totally. It's about giving them the full picture, giving your child the info they need. Like, we're going to Disney World, it's sunny and warm, there are rides and characters. But they even say to talk about the not so fun stuff too, like how long the flight is or what happens at security.
It's about setting realistic expectations, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the airport can be overwhelming even for adults.
For sure. And for kids on the autism spectrum who really need routine visual aids can be a game changer. The blog talks about using social stories. Basically, these are like short stories with pictures that help a child understand a new experience.
I love that. It's like making a little map for them to follow.
And speaking of being prepared, the blog talks about medication and medical equipment, which are super important for many families traveling with children with disabilities.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You're about to get on a plane to Hawaii, but your child's medication is gone.
That's like my worst nightmare.
Right. So this blog says pack double the medication your child needs. It sounds like a lot, but better safe than sorry.
Totally. And that's where that efficiency mindset helps. They say split the meds between your carry-on and your checked luggage.
Such a good tip. It can make all the difference if your bags get delayed or worse, lost.
Exactly. You're minimizing any problems. And for families traveling with special equipment like wheelchairs or communication devices, the blog really stresses talking to your airline early on.
Yeah, because you don't want to get to the gate and realize they can't handle your child's needs.
Exactly. Calling ahead can really make it stress-free. And here's a tip for those with less visible disabilities. They mention the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Card.
I've heard of that. It's such a good idea.
Right. It's a way to show that your child might need a bit more time or help, especially during security checks.
Like a silent way to advocate for your child. Amazing how a simple sunflower can make such a difference.
It really shows the power of small
It
gestures.
really does. And, I've noticed that when I think back to family vacations when I was a kid, it's not always like the big perfect moments I remember.
It's just the little things, right?
It is like those little detours that turn into the best stories.
Yeah, and this blog post really encourages that, letting go of the perfect plan and being open to those unplanned adventures.
Because, when you're traveling with kids, especially kids with extra needs, you just have to be flexible.
Delays happen, plans change, you just never know.
Exactly. And how we react to those moments makes all the difference. We're setting an example for our kids.
Right. If you can laugh about it and see the adventure in it, they will too.
It's about making those uh-oh moments into oh wow moments. Like turning a flight delay into a dance party.
I love that. Or a missed connection turns into seeing a new city.
Exactly.
Mm.
And you know what else can help? Documenting everything. The blog suggests taking pictures, videos, or even keeping a travel journal.
To remember those wins and fun moments.
It's funny you should say that. I was just reading about how being thankful can actually change your brain.
Really?
Yeah, to focus on the good stuff. And I thought about how documenting our trips, even the hard parts, can be like practicing being thankful.
That's a good point. It's so easy to get stressed while traveling, but if you stop and think about the good stuff,
Like your child handling a busy airport or trying new food.
it can really change how you feel.
Exactly. Like they say, what you focus on expands. So even with a little travel bumps, focusing on the good makes it better for everyone.
Totally. And this blog post gives a great base for planning a trip with a child with disabilities, but it made me think of something else.
I love it. I'm always up for digging deeper.
So we talked about the planning side of things, but traveling with a child who has additional needs can be hard on parents too.
So true. We're so focused on our kids that we forget about ourselves.
Exactly. Like they say on planes, put your own oxygen mask on first.
Perfect analogy. So how do we find that balance? How do we take care of ourselves while looking after our kids, especially in a new place where everything's different?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's a whole other deep dive. But for now, just remember to allow yourself to take care of your well-being.
I love that because self-care is important.
It is, whether it's a quick workout, reading a book, or just sitting quietly for 5 minutes to breathe.
Those little things help so much. And it reminds me of that saying, the best gift you can give your children is a happy and healthy you.
So true. Now, before we finish up this deep dive on travel hacks for families with special needs, I have one last thought.
Always love a good question to think about.
We covered so much today, but I'm curious what stuck with you. And what's one thing you can do today to use these ideas on your next family trip?
That's a great question. It's easy to just listen and not do anything, but it only works if we actually use the information.
Right. And using it doesn't mean changing everything at once. It could be just trying one new thing, like those social stories we talked about.
Or setting a reminder to take care of yourself on your trip.
Yeah, exactly. Little things can make a big difference.
And I love a good tech hack. We talked about the planning part, but I bet there are some cool apps out there that can help.
Oh, for sure. There are apps for everything these days, like making visual schedules, tracking medication, even finding sensory-friendly activities and figuring out airports.
That's amazing how technology can really help make things easier. So if you're into tech, definitely check out what those apps can do for your family trips.
Thinking about all this, it makes me realize that what we've talked about today is bigger than just travel.
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Tell me more.
Being prepared, being flexible, self-care, celebrating the little things, those are important for being a parent every day, not just on vacation.
Totally. It's like accidentally learning about being a good parent while talking about travel.
Exactly. So whether you're planning a big trip or just getting through the day-to-day with your family, we hope this has helped you feel a little more ready to handle whatever comes your way.
Because life's too short for boring vacations or, a boring Tuesday. So get out there, explore, have fun, and remember,
Even when things go wrong,
those unexpected turns are sometimes the best part.
have safe and happy travels, everyone.
Safe travels.